Hey guys, how you doing? Something I want to chat about that is something I've felt very strongly about the last couple of years, which is young children's participation in tournaments. And after the last couple of years of watching young kids, and I mean like 4, 5, up to like 8 years of age, I guess, compete, and seeing so many have such horrific experiences on the mat, seeing them get injured and choked and crying on the mat and having a terrible time. When I started my own kids program about a year ago now, then I don't let the what we call the pythons, the 4 to 7 year olds, they don't learn submissions. They learn how to defend their neck against chokes and stuff like that, but they don't learn like how to choke or how to arm lock and stuff like that. It's all about positional control and escapes and play and stuff like that. And yet when I go to tournaments and I see these young kids, and many of them will walk out onto the mat in almost a catatonic state. I mean, for those of you who have competed as adults, you know how anxiety filled and nervous and terrifying it feels, and your brain kind of goes blank. And it takes a while to learn how to compete and how to deal with your nerves and how to be present in the moment. But for very young kids, there's thousands of spectators, everybody's screaming, the hall's super hot, everyone's going crazy, their parents are yelling at them, the coach is yelling, everything's going on, there's matches going on all around them. I can only imagine that it's terrifying and overwhelming for young kids. And then seeing, I mean, of course, there's going to be the coaches' kids or whatever who are like superstars. They were born on the mat, they're tough, they train every day, they wrestle at home with dad and their brothers and sisters and stuff like that. And they're going to go on to become superstars probably, right? But that's not the majority. You know, like less than 5% of all academies compete. And of the people who compete, like what percent are under the age of 8, right? So we don't really want to make it a horrific experience for them. We want it to be challenging. We're wanting to introduce to them the idea of competition if they're interested in that, but certainly not provide them with an experience so terrifying and unwanted. And the idea of like a young kid's throat being choked, right? Like, I don't know if you could probably likely do serious damage to it. But I'm more concerned about the psychological damage, and I can only imagine the kids saying to mum and dad, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah, and so I don't let my kids who are under 8 compete at all. And even the ones who are in the anacondas from 8 to 12, like they would have to have at least a year's training before they, are even eligible to think about it. Because again, I don't want them to have a terrible experience. I want them to have enough mat maturity that they can deal with losing, that they can deal with the experience, that they can deal with being choked, they can deal with being arm locked, to know when to tap, or to be able to trust the coach or the referee that they're going to do the right thing. I must have seen 8 kids at the tournament last weekend. I'm guessing they were between 8 and 12 with their arms in slings. Like, to me that's a refereeing issue for sure. But yeah, it's not a good look. And to have so many young kids having such terrible experiences, we want the young kids to become older kids. We want the older kids to become teenagers. We want them to continue jiu-jitsu for the rest of their lives, and we don't want them to be turned off by it at such an early age in an unnecessary way. Anyway, so there was a post on an Australian group the other day asking for suggestions for tournaments, for ways to improve it. And I responded by saying I don't think there should be any submissions for kids under 8 years of age. The way that they can win is by holding mount, by holding technical mount with a gift wrap, or by holding back mount with a seatbelt grip for, I don't know, what, 5 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever is deemed to be sensible to show supreme control. And that's a great way. That's what we do with the kids, right? Is they win through control, not through submission. Once they're anacondas and they've learnt submissions, then they can start applying them on each other. But we stop them if the arm's even mildly straight, we stop it. As soon as the arm goes around the neck and the rear naked's locked on, we stop it straight away. We don't wait for them to tap. We don't wait for damage to happen. But anyway, there was quite a big response to it, and everyone seems really positive about that as an idea. Of course, it's unlikely that it's going to happen in the IBJJF and stuff like that. Once they put things in stone, they're kind of there. But I think for local tournaments, definitely, where we're trying to get as many kids competing and enjoying jiu-jitsu as possible. And then once they show maturity in that, even at a very young age, then they could go into an IBJJF tournament where they can choke and arm lock and stuff each other. But it's just something that has happened in the last week, something I've been thinking about for the last year or so. And of course, I'm wanting feedback. So if you think that would be a great idea, let me know. If you think that it sucks, let me know. Because there's always going to be people that go, well, kids need to learn how to deal with these things. I'm like, yeah, but they're not mentally mature enough to be able to deal with them. Like, that's the issue. And you can't just like start choking the hell out of kids when they're like 4, 5, 6 years old, so they get used to it by the time that they're like 6 or 7. I don't think it's socially responsible. I don't think it's in the best interests of the kids. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to put out there, is maybe speak to your local tournament organizer and see if they feel similarly, see if there is traction for an idea like this. Because definitely, I've had so many people reach out to me privately as a result of seeing the post and think it's an amazing idea. Apparently in judo they do that, they don't have submissions for kids. I think that only good things can come from it. Anyway, that's my lot. Have a great day, get on the mat, train safe, have fun. Bye guys.